Today on the Topic Show, Trump post on Kamala gets 61 million views. Kamala Harris says that the government should give first-time homebuyers $25,000. Advanced Auto Parts DEI policies leak. Protestors at Chicago DNC convention dress up as abortion pills. Acura will make an NSX-like vehicle, but it'll be an EV. The Lasty Denny's in San Francisco closes after nearly 25 years. Ford files a patent that will give police your data if you decide to speed. And Perdue chicken has a recall because it may contain metal. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guy says he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Honda. Well, they announced that their Acura division will make an EV that will be like the NSX, a super EV for all 18 prospective buyers. Now this comes to us thanks to electrek.com, which appropriately named website to talk about electric vehicles. And this little artistic rendering looks kind of interesting. This comes to us thanks to a writer over there by the name of Jameson Dow. They say, quote, Acura confirms NSX-like EV sports car for the production in 2027, 2028, which, again, Honda owns. I was about to say very similarly, exactly like how Toyota has the Lexus division for their luxuries. Now, the front looks pretty, it looks like a sports car, I suppose. You see, it's following the trend of having the long light bar go around the entire front of the vehicle. Now they say, quote, Acura will make an NSX type electric supercar, expecting it to bring market 2021, 2027, 2028. This according to Acura Global Executive Shinji Ahokuma. They say the Honda NSX sports car, which is sold in the U.S. as the Acura NSX, made a splash in the 90s with popular styling, handling, and use of new technologies such as aluminum monocoque. It stood for New Sports Car Experimental, showing Honda's attempt to dive into future technologies with the model. Well, back then, it was also really revolutionary for being a reliable sports car, which Ferrari and Lamborghini, while many would argue have better styling, well, pretty much a joke when it comes to reliability, very similar to many American cars these days. And again, it was revolutionary at the time. And of course, back then, they had the good old 3 pedals, also known as a manual transmission, though a lot of sports cars enthusiasts weren't really happy that it had a V6, which, traditionally speaking, sports cars don't have V6s. They have V8s, V10s, or V12s. Or if you get a nice Bugatti, you get a V16, or the previous generation was actually a W16 engine configuration. Unfortunately, more and more automotive manufacturers are acquiescing towards hybrids and EVs. They think it's the future, or more accurately, the government is bullying them to do that as well. Now, they did bring back the NSX, which they brought back in 2016. Now, at that time, it's funny, electric kind of complains. It had no plug-in capability at the time, unfortunately. They say, well, they claim it's going to be, let's see here. I was going to say, the video is probably infinitely more interesting than what I have to say. Let's see here. Maximize that. So the end titles or the end text says Acura Electric Vision Performance Electrified. Which, again, Honda thinks it's just a good idea to put their company in an all EV direction, like many other companies, copying them, or vice versa. Actually, they think that's going to be the future, even though the biggest growing consumer preference is hybrids at the moment, in regard to the U.S. market specifically as well. I mean, on the outside, it looks kind of cool, and it has some giant light bars. Actually, I'm a little biased because I love green. Light looks like the lights actually glow a little greenly. That's a little unique for all the accents to it. Now, I'm not sure. I mean, just given Honda's resource allocation, the kind of how usually risk averse they are, I'm actually surprised they're doing this at all. But I mean, it's not gonna be the fastest one. I I mean, I don't think they'll pass Rimac or any of the other, the super performance EV companies. I don't know. Maybe I just like trying to think of the right words here. In order to subvert expectations, sometimes you have to be radically different than everyone else in the crowd. I don't think Acura would ever do this, which is also why I think it would work so great. But again, right now, in terms of the market, in terms of sports cars, supercars, I mean, there are very, 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 very few options with the stick shift. And I know that's not the most people don't want that. But again, this is a niche product. Now, if you're on a big engine stick shift, you have Aston Martin. There's one. And if you want that many cylinders, if you want a stick shift, how many are really left? You have Gordon Murray's new iteration of what, well, he was a billion engineer behind the McLaren F1. But again, how crazy would it be if they have this, it just blows everyone's minds by saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's got a V12 and a stick shift." I mean, with that styling, with that drivetrain, that powertrain that'd be legendary. Again, I don't think they'll ever actually do it, but if you really want to get some headlines, it's not gonna be a high volume vehicle by any means. But yeah, to me, that'd be really cool to be that much of a contrarian to the whole automotive industry. But let me know. I mean, do you think this will sell more successfully than the 2016 iteration of the Acura NXX? And I mean, how's it going to differentiate itself from the competition? Again, research and development, how has been much more conservative throughout the years. I'm not sure how much realistically going to put into this, but let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have the last Denny's in San Francisco closing after nearly 25 years. If only they voted differently or had a different culture. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is talking about how they just chose to close the store for just random reasons. They're making too much money. That was probably the issue. They just felt greedy. They're making too much money. You have to close the store down. It's just terrible. Not because their employees are threatened by the environment there or have syringes all over the ground. But let's dive in. This comes to us thanks to KWTX, specifically by the way, by the name of Jordan Gardner. Get that iconic logo on the screen. It says, "It's a ghost town. Last remaining Denny's in San Francisco closed after nearly 25 years." You see that ginormous logo. Still can't believe they're not headquartered in the great state, or some might argue the great country of Texas. Kind of think it's inevitable as every business seems relocating here for their corporate headquarters. Now they say, quote, San Francisco, great news. The last remaining Denny's in San Francisco is closed. After nearly 25 years in business, the 24-hour diner located near San Francisco Union Square closed October 1st, according to the San Francisco Gate, which, appropriately named, they should probably put a gate around the whole city of San Francisco. Someone needs to give Donald Trump a call. Need to build a wall. Not just Mexico, but San Francisco. The crime, it's ridiculous. The business are dwindling. The drugs are everywhere. The homelessness, it's rampant. That's not the craziest idea. I mean, San Francisco just continues to be the cultural decay of the U.S. Now they say, quote, franchise owner Chris Hack told the news outlet that the ongoing vandalism contributed to the decision to close the store. Who would have thunk it? Crime is not being prosecuted and just keeps increasing? Who would have thought that led to more business closing? Oh yes, anyone with a modicum of intelligence. Unfortunately, people with intelligence aren't working in California politics. He said, quote, we were the only store left. We operated until the last day we could. The cost of doing business is tremendous. There's vandalism and people who come and eat and walk away, and there's no way to stop them, unquote. Again, the cultural and political and law decay of San Francisco. I'm not saying it'd be a great sheriff, necessarily, but, we should have a nice law. If you dine and dash, we arrest you forcibly. And then you are handcuffed to the dishwashing machine or unit. And you, of course, have full legal there's no way you could sue them, or they could sue you, rather. And they just, old-fashioned, they work their bill off. Accountability is a rare thing in modern society, especially in the United States. It's ridiculous. Dining and dashing is something that, it's just disgusting. He said, quote, he continues to say that the dine and dash continue just happening and cut into the restaurant's profit margins. The franchise owner will reportedly continue to run a Denny's location in Washington, but the Union Square restaurant became his last one he was forced to close. He had another one at the San Francisco Fisherman's Wharf before that closed in 2019. And they just couldn't take it anymore. If only they prosecuted crime or had a good culture over there. And it's heartbreaking. Again, a lot of people forget a lot of these big brand stores and restaurants that we think, a lot of people think it's just a company. A majority of them are actually franchisee owned. This is just a literal mom and pop shop trying to keep the lights on, and they couldn't. They don't prosecute crime in San Francisco. And because the cultural decay just continues to erode over there. I can't fathom trying to open a business there, yet alone try to keep the lights on these days. And it's sad news. And given the risk and the environment over there, and thank God I live in Texas, it's one of those things where who would invest in San Francisco? I suppose like stock, you buy low and sell high. It's just such a burden place to try to run a business. I can't imagine trying to. But let me know in the comments, do you think San Francisco will ever make a comeback or will become the next Detroit? Let me know in the comments. As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Ford filing a patent that could help police give you speeding tickets. How nice of them. I'm not saying this is the reason 1,958,735,421 did not buy a Ford, but clearly not contributing to their use case of buying them. This comes to us thanks to car and driver, specifically Eric Stafford, who's a writer over there. Say that quote, Ford cop cars could add tech to help hand out speeding tickets. A new patent-detailed system designed to catch lawbreakers by recording their speed and taking photos of the vehicle. There you can see it has to be San Francisco. It's a Ford F-150 Lightning, bedazzled in police stickers and graphics. Now they say, quote, the patent system not only detects when speeding occurs, but also stamps a picture of the vehicle committing this traffic violation. A Ford spokesperson said that the patent is specifically designed for use in law enforcement vehicles and does not include sharing personal driving data. Hey, I'm sure we believe them. They say that, quote, cops could have an easier time handing out speeding tickets if the new Ford patent becomes a reality. The system described in the patent can be equipped to Ford Police Interceptor, for example, and can identify other vehicles that exceed the set speed threshold that could trigger an onboard camera to take a picture of that lawbreaker's car, which theoretically could help police write more tickets for speeding. Interesting. So it looks like Ford first filed the patent application as, quote, titled Systems and Methods for Detection of Speeding Violations in January 2023. However, it was formally published by the United States Patent Office on July 18, 2024. So now coming to the threshold. So you can see the rudimentary. Yeah, there we go. It's a brilliant patent because I'm sure cities will pay out the wazoo for it because then the police can do their job of generating more revenue for the cities and just handing out more and more tickets. And truth be told, police would have to they would have to leave their vehicle for this. Even more time just to eat donuts there. That's sweet. There you can see that figure. So you have a little graphic if you're just tuning in on Spotify. It looks like you have a little graphic of the police car with a bunch of, basically just speed cameras bolted to the front hood. And then it's just taking pictures and calculating angles of all the different cars that are driving past it. So not good news for those who actually enjoy to drive how vehicles are engineered to do. And, with all the telemetry they have in modern vehicles, I can't help but think it'll just be a matter of time before they actually just have, your telemetry of your specific vehicle transmitted to the government at all times. They say, oh yeah, it's a 1 mile per hour ticket, or decrease your social credit score, or turn off your vehicle because it's an EV. But let me know in the comments, do you think this will actually backfire? Because again, earlier this year, Ford actually filed a patent so that they could repo your vehicle remotely because it'll be an EV. And interestingly enough, the patent was successfully granted. They had it and they dropped it. They voluntarily just said, you know what, we don't want this anymore. I suspect because there's so much public backlash. Because, again, filing a patent is no cheap thing. It takes thousands of dollars. And especially on your level of Ford, they're also doing patent research in addition to the application. I don't think it's coincidence that they just dropped it after there's a lot of backlash from the public. But let me know in the comments what you think the future of this patent will be and how it might affect our speeding tickets. Let me know in the comments because, as always, fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the culture part podcast, you have Advanced Auto Parts DEI policies leaked, and they even include raising money to actually pay for sex changes for minors. Yeah, yet another reason not to shop there is if you needed one. Now, this is coming to us thanks to Libs of TikTok on the good old X Twitter. I'll pull that up here. Which she says, quote, breaking, Libs of TikTok has obtained inter-trading materials from Advanced Auto Parts detailing a complete DEI takeover of the company policy and culture. It includes race-based hiring practices, discriminating against white people, and encouraging employees to snitch on fellow workers who don't follow DEI policies. Yet another company has fallen to the woke mind virus, unquote. Which actually is a good moment for me to actually bring up. Now I'm curious, what is their stock price looking like today? Let's see here. Advanced Auto Parts stock. Might be a coincidence, but the stock dropped 1.92% earlier this week. Though again, still doing pretty darn good. In the short term, oh wow, 5-year trend. This stock is trash. 5-year trend is down 50%, 54.82% to be precise. Past 1 year is down 10.53%. Year to date is down 1%. 6 months is down 1.26%. In 1 month, it did go up 2.35%. Last week went up 5%. Not too good at Advanced Auto Parts. Currently trading for $61.02 per share. Though, granted, by the time I render and upload this video, it will change because the stock market does. The stock market does. And again, not financial advice. And here it looks like a little 2-minute breakdown of it.
Libs of TikTok has received documents pertaining to DEI and LGBTQ training being pushed inside Advanced Auto Parts, one of the most popular auto parts suppliers in the country. As part of their training, Advanced Auto Parts dives deep into diversity, equity, and inclusion with a vision to embrace, quote, the diversity of people, thoughts, skills, and experiences. So what do they mean by, quote, diversity of people? According to Advanced Auto Parts' diverse team, this means targeting underrepresented groups such as pride organizations and various other networks of minority groups. They even go as far as providing direct links for recruiters. Of course, one specific group of people is clearly absent for not being diverse enough. HR teams are expected to ensure the execution of DEI strategies throughout the company's hiring process to make sure recruitment is as diverse as possible.
Actually, I'm looking at these flags. I was going to say, whoever's making flags these days is making a killing because there's so many different of them. So it looks like the first flag on the second page is Align, the African American Leading Inclusion. Another one's ADA, the Advancement for Different Abilities. Fuego. What? Granted, I didn't speak a lot of Spanish, even though my fans from Cuba, but I'm pretty sure that just means hot. But here, in this case, it says Fostering Unity, Engagement, Growth, and Opportunities, Latino Networks. That's hilarious. How is that not like considered cultural appropriation or pejorative or stereotypical? The Hispanic one is called Fuego? Really? Fascinating. You also have Icon, which I don't think they mean the tool company. Pretty sure that's an exclusivity contract with Harbor Freight, or they OEM them actually. So Icon is International Cultural Opportunities Network, embraces diversity as a liaison between the Asian and non-Asian members. Yet, you don't just have Pride. They have Advanced Pride 2.0, perhaps. They say Advanced Pride and Allies Network fosters visibility and growth for members of the allies of the LGBTQ. Those close-minded bigots, they forgot the IA. The apostrophe mark. Then they have the service flag, which International Cultural Opportunities Networks embraces diversity of cultural identities between service and WIM. The Women in Motion Network. Although, fascinatingly enough, the same people that cannot define what a woman is, but I partially digress. A lot of flags.
In fact, the company even pledged to increase its leadership representation of women and people of color separately by 25% by the year 2026. Additionally, leaders of the company
the stock is crashing. Maybe focus on that.
Are tasked with actively championing DEI policies throughout their teams, including holding peers and teams accountable for delivering DEI goals. As part of their company's cultural beliefs training, Advanced Auto Parts expects all employees to help promote an equitable, anti-racist environment which is free from discrimination or harassment.
Equitable is just new speak for Marxism and communism.
One of the ways they will achieve this is by encouraging its employees to report on others who are not following DEI values or are engaging in biased behavior or microaggressions. Yet another company has decided to latch on to the woke mind virus, forcing a radical agenda of diversity and inclusion on its employees.
Let the free market speak. Shop there or do not, accordingly. Yeah, Advanced Auto Parts. Fascinatingly enough, they're more interested in what you're doing with your parts as opposed to parts in the back room or some funny automotive pun. Now, they also say it gets more concerning. So she says Advanced Auto Parts supports sex changes for surgeries for minors. This comes from, pull this up. So she says more. On Advanced Auto Parts has a program called Spark, which appropriately named considering they sell spark plugs. So I understand where that name comes from. However, that program Spark is where employees earn points they can give to a charitable donation. One of the charities they offer is the Trevor Project, which has a radical LGBT organization that promotes transitioning kids. That's what Advanced Auto Parts is supporting. And here you can actually see there's a donation page, and they have the Trevor Project says gender affirming care for the youth. It says, quote, gender affirming care has been shown to reduce suicide, ideation, and attempts to transition individuals, along with social support, family support, and reduction in discrimination. Fascinatingly enough, no, bullshit. Pardon the French, but if you read most studies, the suicide rate of 40% is the same regardless of the surgery or not. Which again shows that surgery does nothing except line the pocketbooks of those doctors. Although I don't know, I don't think they actually, I'm pretty sure they get digitally paid these days, but nevertheless, you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not for the well-being of the people there. Now, going to the comment section, one of the first comments comes from Plaintive Memes, though they did not respond to meme form, a little disappointing. But they say, quote, DEI policies have no place in a free society, getting 1.5 thousand likes. Also, Zupa says, quote, now at Advanced Auto Parts has gone woke, guess it's time they go broke, getting 1,000 likes. Oh. Let's see here. Which means you might have to go somewhere else, like AutoZone, which 99% sure that is headquartered in the great state of Tennessee. Which I only know because I like to try to sell them IT stuff. Basically, if I appreciate your store patronage, I'll probably want to work with you. But nevertheless, I try to focus on great places in Texas. Yeah, Cash Lorenz says DEI is institutional racism, getting 53 likes. America AF says time to boycott, getting 1.1 thousand likes, which, again, especially when you look at automobiles and kind of demographics of who buys them, on average, I venture to say most people that do DEI or DIY stuff and have gas cars are probably, on average, more in the middle or more to the right, politically speaking. Now, again, as DEI has become a political thing, cultural thing, on average, it's mainly loved by leftists and people who are on the left side, who have a much more higher propensity, I would argue, to buy EVs, which require basically nothing from Advanced Auto Parts except for maybe windshield wipers and washer fluid. I mean, when you think at what they sell at Advanced Auto Parts or the competitors like O'Reilly's or AutoZone, all that kind of stuff, I mean, a lot of the internal combustion engine cars would go there for, maybe get you some oil, get some spark plugs. I guess the EVs have the cabin air filters as well. We got the oil filters. I mean, there's a lot more maintenance in general, though I would argue still cheaper ROI compared to replacing battery on EV. But when you look at who's buying stuff at Advanced Auto Parts, I would guess they're more the people that wouldn't like DEI. And yet they're still embracing this. Now, basic question, who is their biggest shareholders? Because again, it's publicly traded, so anyone can buy their stock. Let's see here. Spelling usually helps. Stock. Here, if I just say largest shareholder, I think we know who's the biggest ones. Yep, of course. Look at the biggest shareholders. They are BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. What is this? IJR shares. That's a new one for me. Yeah, they said institutions own 99.4% of Advanced Auto Parts shares, while individual insiders own 0.535. State and local governments own 0.0816. Top 25 shareholders own 81.33% of the company. That is as of January 2023. Yeah, good old BlackRock, Vanguard. Again, they're not doing this for the customers. They're doing it because their shareholders are pushing it. We also have Ryan in the comment section saying DEI racism and DEI is racism and hiring and promoting people that should be illegal. Grammar be damned, I read it. It's got 839 likes. Florida One Now says, forget Advanced Auto Parts and Dunkin' Donuts. Americans have a choice to spend their cash in companies that support patriots. Getting 829 likes. True. These ain't contrarian statements. Not thus far. Michael Savell says, thank you for posting this. I go out my way to avoid companies who embrace racism, DEI's Marxist ideology, and the definition of racism. Getting 529 likes. Jersey Shore says, time to Bud Light Advanced Auto Parts. Getting 214 likes. Plan D says, racism is not okay in either direction. Unquote, getting 276 likes. Jimmy says, who's ever going to Advanced Auto Parts again? Getting 350 likes. Which, yeah, must be a rough time to be an employee there. All those mouse struggle sessions. So out. Yeah, let's see. We'll do one more meme. Hard Truth says it's a meme of SpongeBob holding a piece of paper. The piece of paper says Advanced Auto Parts. He looks at it funny and throws it on fire and just smiles. Got 93 likes. So an interesting direction for Advanced Auto Parts, which, again, I'm not sure how they're doing in general. Their stock's been crumbling like a rock. I mean, again, 50% off in the past 5 years. Is that what it... I mean, that's terrible. I just can't get over that. Yeah, down 54.84% in the past 5 years. I mean, this certainly is going to... I don't see how it's going to help that stock. I mean, will this mean BlackRock will buy even more shares, drive the price up? Maybe that's what their thoughts are. But yeah, I was pretty shocked of all the companies to go into the DEI trend. I wouldn't have guessed it would be Advanced Auto Parts, but let me know in the comments. Are you surprised? And then again, some of these companies, after the public feedback, they've pulled back and changed their policies to reflect what the consumers want. Do you think they will in this instance? Let me know in the comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have protesters at Chicago's DNC convention dress up as abortion pills. Which, I also wonder, who has time to just go to a random protest? I mean, these people have to be getting paid, right? Or unemployment, or government handouts. I don't know. For someone who has not worked less than 60 hours a week since graduating college, even when I was only paid 40 hours a week, I can't fathom having so much free time to just show up and protest for something. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Nick Sorter on X Twitter, which Nick says, quote, now, protesters in Chicago dressed up as abortion pills are walking down the street near the DNC. Is this some type of mental illness? Well, they all certainly look like it. It's only about 22 seconds long. So you see an androgynous looking, maybe females dressed up in those pills. They're all pretty much like O.J. O'Donnell. Let's see what, maybe they'll change our minds with their brilliance and eloquent speech. Maybe they'll give us a compelling reason of why we should be happy that they're dressed up as pills. Funny enough, the same people all say Big Pharma's bad. Now they're worshiping it. One of them is like, was it Cruella de Vil from Disney? She has like half her hair is white and half of it is black. Looks like someone has some swag or like a custom t-shirt. Just says abortion in many different color font. It also shows how far the Democrat Party has fallen. It used to be, like, winding back the clock just a couple, maybe 10, 15 years. I mean, it used to be, or maybe, no, actually, time just flies more than I think. I mean, during the Clinton eras, I mean, the average Democrat, the kind of the party line was they didn't like abortion, but they thought it should be safe, legal, and rare. And yet, another example of the slippery slope, no longer theory, I say the slippery slope truth, is they just worship it the whole time. Because now, I mean, not only do they want it, but many people proudly brag about abortions, and they see it as a testament to kind of like the foundation of the Democrat Party these days, which is this is one of the most disgusting things I could ever think of bragging about. And yet, a lot of these people are bragging about it, saying, "Oh yeah, it shows the cultural decay of the United States, where, I mean, people on the left and the right used to all agree that abortion is not a good thing. I mean, there are some pro-life folks who say there should be no exceptions, and I mean, very few of them actually believe that. I would say many of them have the exceptions of the rape and incest in terms of, where they think it should happen. But it's one of those things where no one thought it was a good thing. And now it's like half of the message from the DNC. And again, the biggest lie in politics right now is them saying, oh yeah, well, just vote for Kamala and you'll be able to abort up to 9 months like they do in Minnesota. Which, again, their state voted for that. They get that. It doesn't matter who's the president. The Supreme Court has ruled it's a state issue. And anyone trying to raise money politically, and I see it, well, right now, it's kind of the whole thing about the DNC party right now, they're just lying to people. They don't care that they're lying. You know, it is emotionally rhetoric. I mean, the emotional rhetoric is off the wall. Certainly, I don't have much policy to stand on, but it's all emotional rhetoric. But again, well, Kamala's also, she's in office now. Another thing people keep forgetting, I don't know why people keep forgetting about that on the left. But yeah, when it comes to the abortion issue, I mean, it doesn't matter on a federal level anymore. So the election really doesn't matter. But I mean, for that specific topic. And yet, they're all about the marches. They're triple X size t-shirt that just says abortion, was it 4 times in different fonts? Interesting. My pre-val, though, got 1.6 million views as well as 13,000 likes. My first comments concern Planet of Memes saying liberalism should be classified as a mental illness, getting 824 likes. Nick Sorter responded saying, pretty sure retardation is also technically a mental illness, getting 453 likes. Guy says, I didn't realize Halloween came early this year, getting 202 likes, which is quite scary looking. Let's see here. Dr. Molly James says, something tells me this is an issue that none of these women will ever have to worry about, getting 699 likes. Nick Sorter responded saying, why does it always happen that way? Or seem to happen that way? Getting 186 likes. They are, let's just say the soles of the shoes get a disproportionate amount of wear and tear compared to their peers. And they may or not be qualifying for a warranty for those shoes. They're large women, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, you have Michael saying Democrats are sick of the head, getting 379 likes. Ultra Mega says, what's going on? Everything about the DNC is upside down crazy, getting 43 likes. AKA says, what is wrong with these people, getting 71 likes. Let's see. X Tango says, do any of them actually need birth control? I'm just saying, I think one alone is a guy, that 5 o'clock shadow. And it's a Cruella DeVille looking one, the hair that's half white and half black, which, I mean, I have white hairs, but that's natural. I'm not dyeing half my hair on purpose like this. This is intentionally like split down the middle of the hair. Very bizarre. I did get 22 likes. Patriot Candy says yes, and it's the Simpsons, and it's the picture of the Mental Institute. It says, please return the woke here, getting 36 likes. So, yeah, it's been a crazy week at the DNC, and I say, as they would probably say, it's getting weirder and weirder, and I'm sure we'll see even crazier things. But let me know in the comments, do you think, I mean, this will be the deciding, I mean, this is one of the biggest cultural topics, as well as the political topics this year. Do you think it'll be the make and break moment for the upcoming election? I mean, do you think people will realize, oh, wait a minute, you mean this is no longer a federal thing? Oh, yeah, I forgot. It doesn't really matter for this presidential election about this specific topic. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Trump posts on Kamal getting 61 million views, actually even more, being one of his most viral moments in the past couple weeks, actually. Now, this comes to us thanks to Donald Trump's ex-Twitter account, #RealDonaldTrump, as he is back. And he didn't even say anything, actually. Just a picture of Kamala, and it's a rally in Chicago. And it's a bunch of the hammer and sickle communism flags. This says she wants to control the price of food, the price of housing, and pretty much take total control. Ban guns, force gun buybacks, or just, go door to door. And it's been pretty violent. Now it's up to 63.2 million views and 675,000 likes. Which, again, even major newspapers, which, again, there's a huge media bias. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But surges of mainstream media, even they are saying some of her policies are communism. Again, like trying to control the price of food, which she says is price gouging. Again, is another lie from the DNC this year. Oh, I was going to say, there's so many to start to keep track of. I think that's one of the biggest lies when it comes to this upcoming political election. Because again, everyone is concerned about the price of groceries because it all hits us. And yet, she's saying she needs to control the price of food because of price gouging. And again, anytime your friends tell you these corporations are so greedy with their food prices and their groceries, ask them, do they think 2% profit is greed? No one with a modicum of business intelligence would say 2% is greedy. I mean, most businesses can't survive on that. Most of them struggle, to say the least. Unlike the government, private sector actually does have to make a profit and be productive. Now, groceries, the industry standard is 2%. So again, they're not inflating the cost. They're not price gouging. The cost of goods sold, their cost of goods sold to them are increasing. Yet there are people on the Facebook saying these Kroger, Walmart, Target, they're so greedy with these grocery prices. This is out of hand. Yes, because your inflationary policies, such as the ironically named Inflation Reduction Act, well, those actually caused record inflation and destroyed most of people's lives. Yes. So, yeah, communism is a morally vacuous evil and has never worked to cause over 100 million deaths. So, I'm glad people are starting to realize that, yeah, her policies, the few that she's publicly talking about, are literally communism. And I think that's why this picture went so viral. Again, 63.23 million views. Keeps going up and up. 676,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from End Wokeness, which he simply says, Kamala Harris getting 8,000 likes. We do have a contrarian statement right off the bat, as I do follow Ed Krasenstein. Not because I agree with him, but life can get a little bit boring when you're in echo chamber, so I try to follow as many people that are left, as well as right as possible. And Ed Krasenstein says, when you can't argue policies, you create memes. Mentally vacuous, yes, but got 3.4 thousand likes and 715 comments. So he is one of the most effective people when it comes to getting feedback and comments. Usually because people want to ratio him, but let's see. Click on this. And then Dawn simply says, really? And it's a picture of Ed Krasenstein, who actually did a next tweet of the picture of communism with Trump on it. 181 likes for that. And a lot of people are just tweeting all the pictures of Ed Krasenstein has where he said graphical images of Trump. Yep, typical hypocrisy. Yeah, it's usually the foundation of most leftists. And again, people are literally arguing the policies that she's put out that are communism. But it is Ed Krasenstein. We also have Paul Zupa saying, quote, Kamala Harris wants to install price control like communism, getting 566 likes. That's for S84 says, Comrade Kamala, in this picture of her at a communism rally, says, you will own nothing and have joy. Getting 1.1 thousand likes. Captured as an AI-generated image of Kamala in the hammer sickle flag that's almost like a cape around her. And she's shaking Stalin's hand, getting 8.9 thousand likes. Ed Krasenstein did the picture of communism with Trump, got 893 likes. Clown World says Trump 2024 is the only way. Comrade Kamala was destroy America, getting 2,000 likes. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, I support President Trump. Do you, getting 4.1 thousand likes. Gunther Eagleman also says, beware, commie is the effing commie, getting 2.3 thousand likes. Let's see, Perkles the Great says, Kamal's father was a Marxist professor. He was the leftist senator, the furthest left senator in U.S. history. More than Bernie. Don't believe the current lies about her being a moderate. Would be laughable if it wasn't so dangerous. There's a picture of her father at university. Being 923 likes. Which, yeah, only after they pushed her, again, no one wanted her, they pushed her to be the nominee for DNC. Well, only after that did they start to rewrite history in true Orwellian fashion, and they actually started to go to those old government websites, or the websites where they were ranking senators by their policies and their track record. So she was no longer the most leftist after they decided to edit it. Likely some internet archives saved it. Let's see here. In the New York Post says, communism. Harris unveils budget-breaking 1.7 trillion economic plan that includes government price controls, getting 391 likes. Cowboy Drew says, Trump 2024 is have a red wave. It's a American flag wave. Getting 536 likes. Crazy moments. Trump 24 says, "Make no mistake." This picture of Trump after your shot says, again, "Make no mistake. They didn't fail to protect him. They failed to kill him." Getting 624 likes. Not Joel. Jerome Powell has a picture of Kamal and I forget that famous couple. I think it was a prince or something. The husband kept poking his head back in the room and said, "Be honest." So the picture of Kamala says, "I want equity," and he says, "Be honest." She says, "I want equal outcomes." He says, "Be honest." And she goes, "I want communism." And he goes, "Thank you." Gained 591 likes. Yeah. One of Trump's most viral moments, and again, I think it's good that he's on X Twitter again, because he's going to need all the support he can get this time around, because again, there are a lot of people, countries becoming more and more polarized. There's hopefully more and more people voting. Hopefully they're educated votes. Nothing's more frustrating when I find someone who's mentally vacuous who just says, "Oh, I think this person's a good candidate. Trust my gut." Foolish. Again, if you can just give me 3 bullet points of either their track record or their proposed ideas, I'll at least respect your opinion, even if I don't agree with the political candidate. Now, Kamala, I'm still waiting to hear 2 bullet points. Yet, shoot, just 1 in terms of persuasive reason to vote for her or her track record of something she's done as an accomplishment. Again, I want good things to happen in their country. I can't fathom why people are voting for her. Unless they want more free stuff or government handouts. Then I can see, that's not a good argument, but I can understand that rudimentary, mentally vacuous argument. Yeah, it's not sustainable. It's one of the major components our country is now $35 trillion in debt. We need to stop all that madness. Eventually we have to sell something useless that we don't use, like, I don't know, Hawaii or something. But let me know in the comments, do you think these memes, do you think it'll be effective? Do you think it's a good way to garner more support? Or do you think it's just him getting more of the same support that he already has? It's not really moving the needle politically speaking. Let me know in the comments, because as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Kamala Harris says that the government should give people $25,000 for their first house in true communism Orwellian thought. Yes. So just for existing, we're going to give you $25,000. Now, let's see. If everyone gets $25,000 for their first home, what might happen? Well, anyone with molecular intelligence say, "Oh yes, you just increased the cost of all the housing by $25,000. Can't make this crap up." I'm glad these policies are being spoken out loud so that everyone can see how mentally vacuous she is. Now, in terms of specific details, I'll go ahead and pull this up. This is originally brought to us thanks to Selena Wang over on X Twitter, which she says, quote, "New Harris will propose providing up to $25,000 down payment to support first-time homeowners with the generous support of first-generation homeowners, according to the campaign official. She'll announce this along with their plan to ban price gouging, quote unquote," which is insane. They also call for the construction of 3 million new housing units. They call for tax incentive to build starter homes, lower rent by taking on corporate and major landlords, stop Wall Street investors from buying up, marking up homes in bulk. And she says, oh, geez Louise. Harris will also propose a $40 billion fund to help governments find solutions to the lack of housing supply. It expands to a further $20 billion fund proposed by the Biden administration. Now, this went viral, got 16.6 million views and 16,000 likes. And yeah, I always one of my fascinating debates I have with friends is, do politicians, do they really want to help out, or do they just want to, destroy us long term? Because these policies would certainly destroy us long term, because they have every time they've been implemented in other areas of the world. The wise philosopher once said, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." Now, again, $25,000 sounds like a good intention. You want to help people out in their first home buying experience, and you just inevitably increase the cost of goods sold. And again, you're also having other people pay for that. So, just ridiculous. So mentally vacuous. And one of the first comments comes from Selena AG Dogs. They got a nice little graph here. It's a little bit hard to see on screen. Apologies. This quote: "When Maduro became president of Venezuela, he implemented price controls over fake corporate greed. Here's what happened to Venezuela's inflation." Yeah, it skyrocketed by 1,300%. Jesus. And that graph got 1.4 thousand likes. Quite a few to say the least. David Galago says this will hurt homebuyers. A $25,000 down payment stipend coupled with a 30-year mortgage at 6 to 8% interest is ineffective. Not only that, but also drive home prices even higher, making mortgages and interest even more burdensome. Truth. Getting 1.2 thousand likes. Wendy Patterson says, quote, Democrats are so out of touch with the American people, getting 1.2 thousand likes. You know what I really would like a politician to do? Get rid of regulations in the fossil fuel industry, get some cheap fuel again. I just had to fill up my car yesterday. Granted, it's a Honda Civic Si, so on average it gets pretty good fuel economy, but yeah, it's amazing how much more just it takes just to fill a tank up. And again, the ripple effect, everything we buy is gotten to us with fossil fuels in terms of transportation logistics, and also petrol products are in darn near everything. It's everywhere. But nevertheless, Salty Cracker says this just in, housing prices just went up by 25K. Good job, idiots. Getting 6.8 thousand likes. True. Katie Scarlett says, so we're just going to pretend like 2008 never happened? True, getting 1.6 thousand likes. Yep. Yet another example of the government saying, we think everyone should own a home. Everyone should have that. And they told the banks, make it happen. And they started giving out subprime loans to people who they could not afford it. And it caused one of the biggest financial downfalls. Good job, government. Adamant in Town says, oh, apologies for that. So price controls and taxpayer-funded subsidies for homebuyers. Kamala Harris is full-blown communist. Getting 5,000 likes. True. Save America says, who's paying for that? Home prices will just go up and we will get taxed harder. She's making a bunch of costly promises in order to pander to votes. That's true. Getting 6.7 thousand likes. And again, if you don't know basic economics or you just don't understand anything, I mean, if you're not that intelligent, then yeah, this sounds great. Government's going to give me $25,000 to buy a house. It could just be, more accurately, setting up for failure, like again in 2008. But again, buying votes is a thing. Just like when they tried to just bribe everyone by paying off their student loans. Supreme Court thankfully struck that down, although they're still trying to subvert it. You have Snowy 2011 saying this will just make home prices go up, it got 3.9 thousand likes. Bill Mitchell says Democrats don't understand market forces, getting 111 likes. Perhaps because most of them have never actually worked in the private sector or held a job. And what was it? Biden was in office for like 50 years working for the government. Drill Bill says this is the price of a house just going up by $25,000. Meanwhile, food producers who are losing money will simply stop producing food. Getting 4.1 thousand likes. Yep. Dan Wolt says also everyone will get a pony, getting 918 likes. It was funny. Every kid, like, one of those cliches, like, you want a pony. Yeah, even if you get the pony for free, good luck with the maintenance and upkeep of that thing. And the stable and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like a sports car. But nevertheless, it's like, oh yeah, you can get a Ferrari for free. Good luck with that maintenance plan. But nevertheless, Codified Professor says, quote, why do you need, grammar be damned, I'm reading it exactly how he typed it out. It says, why do need you? We can read the press release ourselves. What a humiliating job. Getting 406 likes? I can't. So I suppose this is a contrarian statement critiquing the person who posted this on X Twitter? I guess. I mean, well, they reposted it so that more people would see it. I'm not sure how many people are reading the press releases on CNN these days, or just straight from the horse's donkey's mouth. A lot of them referencing the 2008 crash. And again, I'm sure there are some people who support this. I mean, she might even get some votes, don't get me wrong. I mean, but hopefully enough people remember. One more, because it's appropriate for the economy these days. Sim says, is she just printing money out of the basement? The dollar will become worthless at the rate this woman spends money to buy votes. It will be in wheelbarrows just like 1920s Germany. True. And I'm not sure if this photo is actually from Germany at that era, but they have literally a bucket of money. I mean, geez, I wish public schools actually taught like history. Again, public schools have a 32-year low ACT score. And don't get me wrong, there are some good teachers out there. I was blessed to have a couple in my life. But yeah, never forget, during that era, their money was so worthless, they didn't count their money. They weighed it. So when they went to buy a loaf of bread, they actually would take cash and just put it on the scale. That's how worthless their cash was. And it's slowly but surely happening with the inflation we have in the United States. Thanks to ineptitudes on the government or corruption, or little column A, little column B. But yeah, do you think this incentive package for first-time homeowners will be a good idea? I mean, I don't know. I don't own a home. I'd love to. I'm working hard. I'd love to get home someday. But I know that's not going to help the situation. You know what would help? A booming economy and deregulation. That would be great. That'd be a huge variable that would help me in my dream of home ownership. And yet, yeah, they think, oh yeah, we'll just throw $25,000. Ridiculous. But let me know in the comments. Do you think this will give her more votes than not, or do you think a lot of people would say, wait a minute, we tried that, and we tried a similar thing in 2008, and it exploded in our faces epically? She's probably about this. The thing she's proposing, well, not just communism, also mentally vacuous, but also just terrible. So at the end of the day, do you think this will get her more votes, or do you think this will push more people to vote for Trump? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Perdue chicken being recalled because it may contain bits of metal, which not the good kind either. It's not the iron, but it's the kind you actually can't digest. Now, this is brought to us thanks to ABC7. Kathleen Dillinger actually is actually a writer over there. They say, quote, Perdue recalls frozen chicken nuggets, tenders, over possible metal contamination. There you can see the little packaging as well. They say, quote, Perdue Foods is recalling more than 167,000 pounds of frozen chicken nuggets and tenders because of the possible presence of metal in the products. The U.S. Department of Agricultural, Food and Safety and Inspection Service said that the recalled items were produced March 23rd and shipped to retail locations across the U.S. or sold online. They all have a base use by date of March 23, 2025. They note that the recalled products are, quote, 22-ounce packages of Perdue Simply Smart Organic Breaded Chicken Breast Nuggets, 29-ounce packages of Perdue Chicken Breast Tenders, 22-ounce package of Butcher Box Organic Chicken Breast Nuggets. Now, they say Purdue's Vice President of Food and Safety and Quality said, quote, we determined that the material to be a very thin strand of metal wire that is inadvertently introduced to the manufacturing process. Out of an abundance of caution, we decided to voluntarily recall all the packages of them. They say that they should throw them out or return them to the place of purchase. There you can see a closer picture of the other version of the food. All three, actually. Now, thankfully, in terms of the silver lining situation, there have been no confirmed of adverse reactions or anyone passing away. If you want to reach out to Perdue, which to see if a specific one was actually affected, you can call them at 866-866-3703. Again, if you want to call Perdue to see if your specific batch of nuggets has been affected, it's 866-866-3703. In terms of business blunder, especially in food manufacturing, in a lot of these places, they have metal detectors for this reason. They're not worried about someone actually holding up the chicken farm, but a lot of these manufacturing facilities have metal detectors for the food when it's passing by the conveyor belts and manufacturing process for this very reason. I'm not sure if they just didn't have that machine or that the machine was defective, but yeah, having a metal wire, and the way it's set, I'm guessing maybe just a piece of the machine that got broken off or something just was a little too loose. But yeah, having it so that you didn't actually have a metal detector for this to go off, like, I could understand if it's like a metal strand of plastic. That, yeah, it's not good, but that would be a little bit harder to detect. And again, when it comes to, food and product, anything you put inside your body, you have to have the utmost standards when it comes to safety, especially when it comes to these types of things. Now, again, thankfully, they got ahead of the situation, and it's been negatively adversely affected, but it's still going to make people think twice in terms of when they're in the frozen food section of the grocery store. Well, this company might have bits of metal in it. Yeah, each time past historical performance. So the other one, well, what's the other brand? Tyson looks all right. Maybe we'll go with that chicken today. So having bits of metal in your chicken, I'm going to have to say, Perdue, that is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I really appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down or a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.